What if I told you that the man who made you afraid to go swimming, made you believe aliens could be friendly, and brought dinosaurs back to life, was once rejected from film school, not once, but twice? Steven Spielberg, now worth over $5 billion and the richest celebrity on the planet, was just a kid with an 8mm camera who refused to give up on his dreams. By the end of this video, you'll discover how this rejected film student became the most powerful man in Hollywood and changed the way we watch movies forever. Steven Allen Spielberg was born on December 18, 1946, in Cincinnati, Ohio. His father, Arnold, was an electrical engineer working in the emerging field of computers, while his mother, Leah, was a concert pianist with dreams bigger than the suburbs could contain. Both parents came from Russian Jewish immigrant families, and their frequent moves due to Arnold's work would shape young Steven's perspective on the world. The family moved constantly during Steven's childhood, from Cincinnati to New Jersey, then to Phoenix, Arizona, and finally to California. This nomadic lifestyle exposed him to different environments and people, experiences that would later influence his storytelling abilities. But for a young boy, these moves meant starting over repeatedly, often making him feel like an outsider looking in. At age 10, something magical happened. Steven got his hands on his father's 8mm camera during a family trip. What started as documenting family excursions quickly became an obsession. By age 12, he was creating elaborate productions, starting with a short film about a train wreck. This wasn't just a kid playing with a camera. Steven approached filmmaking with the seriousness of a professional, even as a child. School was a different story entirely. Steven showed little interest in academics and made average grades at best. He was often bullied at school, feeling isolated and different from his classmates. But when he picked up that camera, everything changed. Fellow students who might have ignored him suddenly paid attention when he was behind the lens, directing them in his ambitious productions. One student later recalled, he became a totally different person. He had all the football players out there, all the popular guys, and he was telling them what to do. An hour before, he was the guy you'd kick dirt in his eyes. At 16, Steven wrote and directed his first feature-length film called Firelight, a 67-page science fiction story about alien abductions. He managed to convince local businesses to help with locations. Baptist Hospital in Phoenix let him film inside a hospital room, and American Airlines allowed him to shoot inside a plane between flights. The film cost less than $600 to make, and when it premiered at a downtown Phoenix theater on March 24, 1964, it actually made a small profit. By this time, Steven knew his future lay in filmmaking. I knew after my third or fourth little 8mm epic that this was going to be a career, not just a hobby, he later said. But the path to success wasn't smooth. Steven's poor grades prevented him from entering the University of Southern California Film School, not once, but twice. He had to settle for California State College at Long Beach instead. However, his rejection from USC turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Without formal film training, Steven educated himself by watching every movie he could and sneaking onto studio lots. He would dress in a suit, carry an empty briefcase, and walk past security guards at Universal Studios like he belonged there. For months, he set up an unofficial office in an abandoned trailer on the lot, watching productions and learning from real filmmakers. This bold strategy paid off when Sidney Sheinberg, vice president of Universal TV, saw Steven's short film, Amblin, and was so impressed that he offered the 21-year-old a 7-year contract. Steven became the youngest director ever to sign a long-term deal with a major Hollywood studio. His early television work included episodes of Night Gallery, Marcus Welby, MD, and Columbo. In 1971, he directed Duel, a made-for-TV movie about a deadly battle between a car driver and a psychotic truck driver. The film was so successful that it was released in theaters overseas and earned over $5 million, establishing Steven as a talent to watch. But it was 1975 that changed everything. Jaws wasn't just a movie, it was a cultural earthquake. The film about a killer shark terrorizing a small beach town became the first movie in history to earn $100 million at the domestic box office. People literally lined up around the block to see it, coining the term blockbuster. The production of Jaws was a nightmare. The mechanical shark, nicknamed Bruce, constantly malfunctioned. The film went over budget and behind schedule, but these problems forced Steven to be creative. Instead of showing the shark constantly, he suggested its presence through John Williams's now iconic score and clever camera work. This restraint made the shark even more terrifying. Jaws grossed over $476 million worldwide and made Steven a household name. At just 28 years old, he had created the template for the modern summer blockbuster, but he was just getting started. In 1977, Steven released Close Encounters of the Third Kind, a deeply personal film about UFO encounters that earned him his first Academy Award nomination for Best Director. The film grossed over $300 million and proved that Steven wasn't just a one-hit wonder. Then came the 1980s, Steven's golden decade. He partnered with his friend George Lucas to create Raiders of the Lost Ark in 1981, introducing the world to Indiana Jones. The film was a massive hit, leading to an entire franchise. A year later, Steven directed E.T. the Extraterrestrial, which became the highest-grossing film of all time with nearly $800 million worldwide. E.T. was particularly meaningful to Steven because it reflected his own childhood feelings of being different and displaced. The story of a lonely boy befriending an alien was really about Steven's experience during his parents' divorce when he was 15. The film's success was both financial and emotional. It touched millions of hearts worldwide. But Steven wasn't content to just make entertaining movies. In 1993, he released two films that showed his incredible range as a filmmaker. Jurassic Park brought dinosaurs to life with groundbreaking special effects and became the highest-grossing film ever at that time, earning over $1 billion. The same year, he released Schindler's List, a black-and-white Holocaust drama that won him his first Academy Award for Best Director. The contrast was stunning. One film used cutting-edge technology to create fantasy entertainment, while the other used restraint and realism to tell one of history's most important stories. Steven donated all his profits from Schindler's List to create the Shoah Foundation, which has recorded over 51,000 testimonies from Holocaust survivors. In 1994, Steven co-founded DreamWorks SKG with Jeffrey Katzenberg and David Geffen, becoming one of the few directors to own his own major studio. This gave him unprecedented creative control and financial success. The studio produced hits like Saving Private Ryan, which earned Steven his second Best Director Oscar in 1998. Steven's business acumen proved as sharp as his filmmaking skills. In the early 1990s, when Universal was struggling financially, Steven negotiated a deal that would make him incredibly wealthy. Instead of taking a large upfront fee, he accepted 2% of all Universal theme park ticket sales for life. This deal now brings him approximately $30 to $50 million annually. Today, Steven Spielberg's influence on cinema cannot be overstated. His films have grossed over $10 billion worldwide, making him the highest-grossing director in history. He's the first director to pass this milestone. According to Forbes, his net worth stands at $5.3 billion as of December 2024, making him the richest celebrity in the world. But wealth is just one measure of success. Steven has been nominated for 9 Academy Awards for Best Director, winning twice. 7 of his films have been preserved in the National Film Registry as culturally significant. Life magazine named him the most influential person of his generation, and Empire magazine ranked him the greatest film director of all time. His influence extends beyond individual films. Steven essentially created the modern blockbuster format with Jaws, pioneered the use of special effects as storytelling tools, and showed that popcorn entertainment could coexist with serious artistic achievement. Directors like James Cameron, J.J. Abrams, and many others cite Steven as their primary inspiration. Even at 78 years old, Steven shows no signs of slowing down. He's currently working on a new UFO-themed film reportedly titled The Dish, scheduled for release in June 2026. The cast includes Emily Blunt, Josh O'Connor, and Colin Firth. He's also producing The Goonies 2 and developing a new Bullet film starring Bradley Cooper. Beyond filmmaking, Steven remains committed to philanthropy and education. Through the Heartland Foundation, established with his wife Kate Capshaw in 2021, he works to build a more just and equitable America. His Shoah Foundation continues preserving Holocaust testimonies for future generations. Steven's story proves that talent, persistence, and vision can overcome any obstacle. He transformed his childhood feelings of displacement into universal stories that connect with audiences worldwide. From a kid with an 8mm camera to the most powerful director in Hollywood, Steven Spielberg didn't just make movies, he changed how we experience them. His journey from rejected film student to billionaire filmmaker proves that sometimes the biggest obstacles can become the greatest opportunities. Steven Spielberg's incredible journey from a bullied kid with a camera to the richest celebrity on Earth shows us that dreams really can come true with enough determination. His story reminds us that being different isn't a weakness. It's often the source of our greatest strengths. What dreams are you working toward that might seem impossible right now? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring stories of people who changed the world. Remember, every expert was once a beginner, was once a disaster.